growing up, I always wanted to have kids. And eventually I became a high school math teacher. And now I don't think that anyone should ever reproduce. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have kids if you want to. I'm just saying it should be illegal. I was a teacher, though. Do we have any teachers here tonight? Yeah, okay, give others a bunch. Yeah. Teachers have a really tough job. You know that as well as I do. Yes, they do. When I was younger, I had a teacher who walked out of class one day. He slammed his hand down on a desk, and he said, "I've had enough of this," and he stormed off, and I never saw him again. Now, some people would have been excited by that, having the rest of the day off. Not me. I was devastated, because I was homeschooled. It was tough after that. It was just a long string of substitute teachers after that. And my mom brought home from the bar. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening. My parents, they did homeschool, me and my brother, and they had some logic behind it. They said, public school is going to make our kids all kinds of dysfunctional, and that's something we can do at home. So I became a comedian. Yeah. My parents were very strict, though. That's a lot of homeschool parents were like that, very strict. Does anyone else have parents that were like that? They were just kind of like, Does anyone else have parents? Or... Okay. You guys are great. I did this routine a couple weeks ago, actually, and it was totally dead silent when I asked that question. Totally dead silent. I was like, come on, I'm just making a joke. And that was actually the first time that I was kicked out of an orphanage. I know, it's gonna get darker. I'm no longer a math teacher. I actually work in space operations now. Colorado Springs is the epicenter of the whole American military space operation, which is pretty cool. Yeah, there's probably some people in here who do that. Yeah. I'll run out of here. Very cool. And I actually think it's a little ironic that I work in the space industry because I'm Chinese. And that's not the joke. He's Chinese, that's hilarious. Careful. But there's a lot of tensions between the US and the Chinese space programs. And when I first started, I thought that might be a problem because I'm half Chinese, so that makes me half a person of interest. I remember when I first started, my first day, there's this guy interviewing me for my security clearance, and he looked me up and down, and he said, "Do you have any foreign Chinese contacts?" He sounded real sinister. And I'm a comedian, right? So I looked at him and I said, "Wow, my cousin works at the Golden Panda. If you want, I can smuggle you out some half-off crispy duck poo-poo platters." What are you writing down there? "What's your favorite color?" "Red." "Oh, no. I mean blue. Blue and white. Red and white and blue is my favorite color." "My favorite sport?" "Well, obviously not ping pong. Probably football. American football, not that communist European stuff." Anyway, so I had to smooth things over after that little debacle, so I vandalized a Panda Express. And now I only eat at Texas Roadhouse America. I do want to give it a little disclaimer, though. Because I don't want to offend anyone. So if I make a couple Asian jokes, just remember that I am half racist. Speaking of not offending people, this seems like a good place to tell some jokes about the Bible. One of my favorite Bible stories is the story of Moses and the Pharaoh. Yes. I heard one yes, one fan. Always one fan. If you don't know that, take you through it real quick. Basically, Moses goes up to the Pharaoh and he's like, "Hey, let my people go free." And the Pharaoh says, "I don't think so." So So Moses and God, they put their heads together and like, what are we gonna do about this? And if you hadn't figured out by now, yeah, it's just gonna get like lightheartedly sacrilegious. Just don't worry about it, nobody knows you're here. So Moses is like, I got an idea. And so he throws a bunch of frogs and locusts at the Pharaoh, and that doesn't work. And I'm also kind of paraphrasing here. Don't worry about it. So then Moses is like, I have an idea. What if we just dip? So he does that, and he takes all of the Israelites and takes them away right out from underneath the Pharaoh's nose. And then he parts the Red Sea, and they run off into the gap and escape. Whoa. So then the Pharaoh, he sees that, right? And he tells all of his army, he's like, hey, go chase them down, go get them. And his army's like, okay. So they run after them, and then they all drown. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I just watched someone move the ocean, and then you told me, hey, go get that guy, I'd be like, no. No, I'm just some guy. That's probably Poseidon. That would be like if the Avengers were all, oh my gosh, Thanos is coming to destroy the world. What do we do? Why don't we send in Bill? Thanos has an army of loyal followers and 5 infinity stones of power, and he can beat the Hulk in a fist fight. Bill has an 800 credit score. So Moses and the Israelites, they wander the desert for 40 years because men will never ask for directions. But finally, they arrive at the land of milk and honey, and everything was all sticky. It's really hard to have my job because of the NSA. It makes it hard for me to talk to people about it. Like, people come up to me and be like, so what do you do? I'm not allowed to talk about it! But because you guys are cool, I'll tell you a little about it. I'm a space operations controller, which is a really fancy way of saying that I push a button when I'm told to. Yeah, whoa. Don't worry, I'll show you. Push it. Don't push it. Push it. Don't push it. Okay. And then after 8 hours of that, I go out to bars and tell women I'm a rocket scientist. All right, thanks so much, guys. Let's get the oxymorons back.